All right, let's dive into something pretty wild today. We're looking at a platform called Mixcash.com, and it's making a huge claim to offer an infinite library. Seriously. It's all about changing how we find and, get this, even create the books we read. So how on earth did they pull that off? Okay, just think about this for a second. You've been there, right? You're searching for a book on some super specific topic, and nothing. You come up totally empty. But what if your library could read your mind? In a way. What if it knew exactly what you wanted to read? And there it is. That's the twist. This isn't just about finding a book that's already sitting on a shelf somewhere. No, this is about creating a brand new book, totally from scratch, just because you had the idea. That's the core promise here. It sounds a little like science fiction, but let's break down how it actually works. So, the secret behind this whole infinite library thing isn't some crazy, complicated piece of tech. It's actually a really clever two-part system. It combines a huge library of books that already exist with a tool that can create new ones whenever you want. Here's the one-two punch. First, you get unlimited access to read everything that's already on the platform. That's part one. And second, for anything that's missing, you just suggest it, and poof, they create it for you. It's that simple. So let's dig into that first part, the subscription.
Right, so the way you get into this whole ecosystem is with the Total Access subscription. This is basically your key to the kingdom. It unlocks the thousands and thousands of books that are already there, ready for you to read right now.
And the price for all this is just a flat fee of $11.99 a month. For that one price, you get the keys to their entire library of books that they've authored themselves. And this is their official promise. We're not talking about just a few curated titles. It's unlimited access to every single book that Mixcash.com has created. So what exactly does that library look like right now? So what's in the box? Well, you get immediate access to over 12,000 books, and a whole bunch of those, over 600, even have audiobooks. Plus, they're adding new stuff every single day. Just look for the MTA badge, that's Mixcash Total Access, and it's yours to read. And you know, no strings attached, you can cancel whenever. But what about the books that aren't on this massive list?
And this is where we get to the second part of the engine. This is where that whole infinite idea really starts to make sense. It's called the Book Suggestion Program, and it's what makes this library genuinely endless.
The concept is beautifully simple. It is a totally free service. You, the reader, just suggest an idea for a book. I mean, anything you can dream up. And then Mixcash's AI goes to work researching and writing that book from scratch.
Let's use an example they give. Say you have a sudden, random curiosity about the history of birthday parties. You know, it's a cool topic, but it's pretty niche. You're probably not going to find a whole book about that in your local bookstore. So what do?
You just suggest it. That's it. You pop your idea into their platform. That is literally the only thing you have to do.
Then their AI system takes over. It does all the heavy lifting. The research, the outlining, writing the actual content, and putting it all together into a real structured book. Your little idea becomes a finished product.
And finally, once it's done, that book gets added to the Total Access library. You can read it instantly with your subscription. That gap in the world's knowledge is now filled. But wait, the story doesn't even end there. Okay, this is where the model gets really, really interesting. It's not just about reading books anymore. It's about being a part of their creation. Mixcash actually lets you profit from your own ideas. You go from being just a reader to being a creator. So the platform gives you two ways to play. You could write your own book, do all the work, and keep a huge 85% of the profits. Or, and this is the game changer, you can just suggest the idea for a book, do zero of the writing, and you still split the profits 50-50. I mean, just look at this deal. It is a straight-up 50-50 split. For every copy of that book that gets sold to someone who isn't a subscriber, half the profit goes to you. It's a partnership. You bring the spark, they bring the engine, and you both win.
And here is the real kicker. It's not just about the money, which is cool enough. You also get credit. Your name is listed as a co-author on the book. You get official recognition for your idea. It becomes a published work with your name on it. How cool is that? So when you put all these pieces together, you realize this is so much more than just a digital bookshelf. It really is a living, breathing ecosystem of knowledge, one that's constantly growing and being shaped by the curiosity of the people who actually use it.
Which, of course, leaves us with one final and pretty fun question to think about. With a tool like this, what's that one book you've always wanted to read but could never find? What book will you create first?